What up, though, everybody? Welcome back to Daily Upside. I'm your host, Keenan Rivals. Today is the day. It is NBA Draft Day. I feel like this day came so quick. I feel like we've been talking about it. We've been waiting for it. We've been speculating, and then boom, it's just here. It came, and it's here. And this is one of the weirdest, NBA drafts that I think I've been a part of since like just watching basketball. It's the most random draft class. There's no certified number one pick or number two pick. Every mock draft I see, it's like a different player. We got someone Anthony Edwards, we got some Minnesota taking James Wiseman, then we have someone Melo Ball. I don't think there's ever been three players this interchangeable. Not that I can think of. If you guys can think of any, let me know. But I can't think of any this interchangeable. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of see what happens. Who goes where, and just kind of what trades happen. What I'm looking for is I'm hoping that um, Golden State can probably get Lamelo. I just think that'd be a really fun to watch. I don't know how much opportunity he have there, but I think he'd thrive in that system as long as he can kind of work well with the players and be humble. I want to see Denny or Deny go to the Pistons if possible. I mean, if he goes to Chicago, that'd be a great fit. But I really want the Pistons to pick him up. And if the Pistons can't draft him, then I'm really looking for them to grab Killian Hayes. So they're looking at Tyrese and a lot of these mock drafts, but I think Killian Hayes is the guy to get. And yeah, I mean, it's just going to be exciting to see, who goes where and who gets traded. One thing I saw on Bleacher Report was that the Warriors are looking to maybe trade down in the draft. They're not high on any of these players. If they can make this trade, I think that'd be really good for them. Exchange their second pick for the fourth pick in Wendell Carter Jr. I don't know who the Bulls are trying to get. I'm assuming they'd be trying to pick up James Wiseman. I don't know. I don't know what player is worth, another pick plus Wendell Carter Jr. But these are the kind of trades we're probably going to see, and it looks like these teams are just getting desperate. They're just giving away a lot for little. So yeah, we'll see what goes on with that. Sports cars news lately has been just as crazy as the NBA. It seems like overnight the market just completely rebounded, and now we're just seeing cards, go above all-time high. Every card is like breaking a record, especially these rare cards. We saw a select PSA 10 of Luka Doncic a few days ago go for almost $6,000. Huge card. We've been talking about courtside on this channel almost every day. We'll probably keep talking about it. I think the next card is courtside as well. But yeah, I mean, this just solidifies how great and how rare this set is. These are now going for like 3 to 4x his Prism PSA 10. I said it once, I'll say it again. This is the rookie card to have. So much that we also see Zion recently sold for $2,713. Now, for me, that was huge because I've been preaching about this card for so long. I've done countless write ups, countless Instagram posts. I've been telling people that Zion's courtside was extremely underrated. I even wrote up like a little article about it in Morning Bins. If you would have subscribed, when do we do this? October 2nd. So if you would have got the full analysis on this, I talked about like this is one of this car was $900 at the time. I thought it was a steal, and I said in October exactly what I'm saying today. Select courtside is going to be the rookie card to have over the next few years, and currently Zion is underrated. In this analysis, I talked about Trae Young and how his court side was double the price of his Prism. At the time, I think his Prism was like $400, and his court side was going for $800. And then I was kind of comparing that to Zion, and I said Zion's court side isn't double the price of his Prism. It's actually a little less than that, which was a buying indicator for Zion for me. They're not going for the same multipliers. And then I talked about how long term I actually like Trae Young better as a prospect. But in the short term, Zion is kind of like one of the potential faces of the NBA. So I think this card could explode. And this last sentence really set it off for me. If all goes well, we could see Zion's Prism touch $1,000 and his court side reaching $2,000. And here we have his court side hitting $2,713. So look, I'm not trying to oversell you guys on this. I haven't even talked about it that much, but that is the market cap method at its finest. I was able to take these numbers, I was able to utilize this formula, and I was able to figure out that this card was super underrated and that it was probably going to be $2,000 once the season kind of commenced because it has the hype. There's no reason why this card needs to be that far down. The beautiful thing about the market cap method is that all the cards work in tandem. So if his court side is going to push a new high, so is Zion. So is Trae Young's. So is Jason Tatum. He's the market mover. So if he's the market mover and he goes higher, that's just going to increase the multiplier for those other players. And again, the multiplier method is coming out, so you guys can kind of use these two things together because that's really going to help you confirm, what to potentially buy. But look, the market cap method is on sale for right now. If you use the code YouTube20, I'll know that you listened to this episode, and that's going to give you 20% off the market cap method. So definitely check it out. The link's down below. I'm telling you, it works. Whoever bought this car, because somebody did buy it from my Discord group, they just tripled their money. So yeah, big shout out to them for paying attention and following this analysis because it's looking like it's going to pay off for them. Outside of that, we had some other cars reach some insane numbers. This Michael Porter Jr. Prism Choice Red BGS 9.5. I love Prism Choice. This car went for $2,000. I think I had it projected at like 1,200. It going for 2,000 really blew me away. I just actually picked up the Red Ice BGS 9.5, so I was pretty excited about that. I thought I got it for an okay price point considering how high cards are now. But yeah, I think this just points back to what we've also been talking about here, that serial number cards, they're just unpredictable and they're going to keep rising in price. They're limited. We like limited. And when you have limited and graded, at least Gem Mint in the same sentence, it's just gonna be a pretty good auction for a prospect like Michael Porter Jr. Looking at some of the vets, we actually had this LeBron James go for $70,000. I mean, this is a BGS 10 Bowman Chrome refractor. I went on Twitter yesterday and I'm like, there are some insane cards ending tonight. I never thought I would see these cards before. And I think that tweet raised a few eyebrows. So somebody hit me up and they were like, hey, why is everybody selling these cards? Are they dumping? Are they getting rid of their, the auctions? Are they not believing in the market? And to a certain extent, I mean, yeah, kind of. I know that's a scary answer, but it's actually really healthy for the market. We need people to sell cards, especially these high end cards. Whenever they sell these high end cards, that creates a higher low for the card, or in this case, a higher high. But that's going to be the new base for the card. So if a LeBron James BGS 10 refractor sold 5 years ago, maybe that was the last time we saw one, it might have sold $30,000. And that's kind of the only evaluation we have for that card. But now we have this one at 70,000, and that's new data. Whenever we have new data, that pushes up other prices of cards. So now somebody may have thought there's no way a card could sell for 70,000, a modern card. And now we have data that it can. So that's going to, set a new bottom for that card. That's going to push the market cap of all the other cards up. And whenever we have a card that sells, it's new data. So the benefit is that somebody bought this card at 70,000. So now that becomes the new bottom. The person who bought this card may have bought it at 30,000. So he's probably comfortable selling it for whatever price point. But now the new bottom is 70,000. And I know that's kind of a big number. So let's use a smaller example to kind of make this make sense. When I sold my Trae Young courtside PSA 10s, a few people found out that it was me who was selling them, like the High Upside show. And they reached out to me. They're like, hey, I just bought this card. You're the High Upside show. You said Trae Young was a great buy, but you're selling them. Are you trying to like sell your cards to me? And it's like, no, I sell cards all the time. And I understand that it's healthy to sell these type of cards because when I bought these Trae Young cards, I bought my court size for $300. So that's the bottom for me. So if the market crashed or if I needed some money, I'd be okay selling that car for $600 or $700. But because I sold them at 1,000 or because I sold them at 1,200, that set the bottom for the Trae Young card. The new bottom for that card was no longer $300 where I bought it at. It was now $1,000 where I sold it at. Could I have gotten more? Yeah, probably. But there wasn't enough data for anybody to buy that card for more. Once I started selling my Trae Young cards at $900 and $1,000, the data was there. And then they started to sell for 1,200 into 1,500. I don't think those cards get to 1,500 without me selling mine for 1,000 because the bottom would have always been something lower. So I hope that makes sense. If not, let me know. I'll do maybe like an extended video on that, like why it's important that cards are sold. If we just keep cards in a vault, then there's never any data and there's nothing to predict their potential value. But if we keep cards selling and we keep them liquid, but also, not too liquid, but a little bit liquid, then we're pushing in that new data and people kind of have to bid those higher price points to win. So yeah, it makes sense to me in my head. Hopefully it made sense to you guys. Last but not least, here we have one of my favorite cards, kind of reviewing these previous auctions. And this one ended yesterday for $31,000. Now this hurts a little bit and it'll make sense why, but man, I mean, this card was going for like 25, 26, 27. And it's such a crazy card for me because I've been talking about Stephen Curry for quite some time. I think I was one of the first people to say, like, hey, this card has Mickey Mantle potential. If you bought the market cap method, you'll hear me say that in there. And that's because I predicted this card was going to hit $20,000. And now it's hitting 30. I did a write up in March, and this is again for premium members, but I did a write up in March, and it said if Giannis is king, then Stephen Curry is. And basically, what I was trying to say is, why is Giannis going for more than Stephen Curry? Yes, he's an MVP. Yes, he's one of the most athletic players in the NBA. But here we had Stephen Curry, who already has a ton of accolades, and he was just going for so much less than Giannis. So I started doing some math, and it was a really long write up. If you guys want to read it, I'll link it down below. You do have to be a member to check it out, but I know some of you have been joining. And I'll skip all the text and I'll get right to this image right here. If this image is just so iconic for me because I talked about Stephen Curry's cards and I'm like, why are they so cheap? At the time, this card was $2,800. And I talked about this card and I'm like, Stephen Curry doesn't have any legit cards. He entered the hobby during a weird period. No Prism, no Optic, no Select. He has National Treasures, but everything else is pretty blah. This caused me to look elsewhere. Stephen Curry is a great player, but he doesn't have the hype right now. I know this sounds crazy considering his Topps Chrome is $2,500, but when you look at those numbers, you'll see that this card has barely increased while everyone else has 4 to 5x. And basically, what I was saying here is like everybody else in the market has 4 to 5x, but because Stephen Curry was already expensive, he didn't go up. But he deserved that same 4 to 5x. He deserved to be one of the players whose prices increased, and he wasn't. And it just didn't make sense to me. Here's another example of an article that I wrote that's very similar to that. And that's where I kind of compared the market cap of cards. And this is kind of where the whole market cap method idea originated. At the time, obviously these prices are outdated. This was written back in March as well. But at the time, we had LeBron, whose Topps Chrome was 13,937,000. And then we had Giannis, who was 4 million. And then we had Luca, who was 5 million. And then we had Stephen Curry, who was $162,000. It didn't make sense at all, and that's why now we've seen this card jump from $2,800 all the way to $31,000. Now, at the time of writing this, I didn't have enough money to buy a Stephen Curry card. I wasn't there financially. I'm upset that I wasn't, but I did take this information and I utilized it for his other cards. I'm like, Stephen Curry's a buy. So I took whatever money I had and it grew over time. And I just started buying Stephen Curry cards like crazy. You can see I started in March, like when I wrote that. And this is a testament to how authentic this show is. Everyone thinks that I'm just writing this stuff or saying these things, trying to push my prices. I wrote those articles in March. I bought my first Steph Curry card in March. I'm buying these cards with you and I'm giving you the information as I'm buying them. This isn't like I bought all the cards and now I'm coming to report it back to you. I'm in the trenches with you at the same time. When I find information, if you're a part of my program, you get the information. I don't buy it first. I let everybody know to buy these cards in March. But yeah, I was picking up his BGS 9.5 Panini cards for, oh man, this is so cheap. For $68, after taxes and shipping and all that stuff. And it was just like, man, this is so cheap. And at the time, again, I was comparing him to Giannis. Giannis was the only other player that was a star that was comparable to Stephen Curry that had, Panini rookie cards. And they were going for like a 3 or 4x of Stephen Curry's. And that didn't make sense to me. So I was letting the community know. And I was buying them in droves. Like anyone that popped up, I bought it. You can see everything is Panini, Prestige, light blue, like everything. And then it got to Bowman. And I started realizing, like, man, Bowman's a steal. Like, $460. I overpaid at the time for that card. Like I just really wanted it. I was going to win it by any means necessary. And I remember buying that card and thinking like, yo, I just paid $500 for a basketball card. That was insane to me. And that was on April 18th and oh, I'm sorry, April 3rd. And I believed in this so much that around May 10th, when another one came, I paid $712 for it. I'm like, the math that I did just makes sense that I almost paid double the price point for the same card less than 30 or a little over 30 days later. And I just wanted more Bowmans. I paid 185 for the BGS 9. I understood that these cards are going to be huge because I used the market cap method and I did the math and it just made sense. So much that I even have a little target sale here. Now, I'm buying these cards at like really low price points. My target sales are like a 3 4x. You don't buy most cards with the idea of 3 to 4xing, especially. And this is like before the sports cards market even boomed. I bought this PSA 10 Bowman at $463, and I was predicting that I was going to sell it at $2,000. That's a pretty bold prediction, but the market cap method allowed me to come up with those numbers. And if you go over here, you can see that I actually sold these cards at these kind of price points. So, I didn't quite get 2,000 for this one, but I sold it at $1,650. That was in June 6th, so less than a few months later. And for the other Bowman, I got 2,500 for it. So that was above my prediction. So it's just like the market cap method was like kind of spot on. When I bought these cards, the predictions that I made, equaled out to about $11,449. So my $3,900 investment was going to turn into this. And I remember like telling my friends, and I was like, you should buy some Stephen Curry cards. They're a really good deal. I'm about to 3x my money. And they're like, dude, you're not 3xing your money. And you can see I bought my first card in March and I sold my last card in July. So what, in 4 months time, I 3x my money. My total, I went from $3,900 to 9,515, which netted me a $5,614 profit. And again, that's the market cap method. It works. It made sense. It continues to make sense. And we're doing it again today. I mean, if you look at Stephen Curry's Bowman card, they're still selling for $2,500 to this day. And if you utilize the market cap method, you'll see that that's still undervalued, which is why I picked up his BGS 10 recently. Now that my money's a little bit longer. So again, guys, if you haven't picked up the course, definitely do so. We're about to be in the home stretch of sports cards. This season is about to be crazy. You're going to want to know the plays. You're going to want to know how to get a court side, Zion for $900 and understand that it's probably going to hit $2,700. And Zion doesn't even have to play for it to do so because the market cap method will work itself. Things move in droves, things move in gaps, and those gaps have to be filled and they have to make sense. There's no way that Luka and Zion are going to be a 10x apart when they have a similar, hype. Not right now, at least. In the future, maybe. And same thing with like Trae Young. That's why we're looking at Trae Young right now. There's no reason for him to be 10 times the less than Luka. I bought my Trae Young Immaculate at $1,500 because Lucas was going for 15,000. It didn't make sense to me. It had nothing to do with Trae Young and his performance. It had everything to do with the gap between the price. So what cards are we looking at now? Well, today I'm dropping the sports cards pick of the week. If you guys haven't signed up for the membership, then definitely do so because you'll get access to that and you'll get access to it every week. It's going to come with an analysis. It has charts. It's professionally done. There's some good stuff there. So yeah, I'm not just making these prices up, guys. I'm not just trying to sell a course to you because it makes me money. This stuff works and people who are in the group have made money, and you can do so yourself. There's so many plays that I haven't even thought of yet that you can utilize this course and you can figure them out. So again, use YouTube 20 to get that discount, and if you guys haven't already, be sure to sign up for the membership because you're going to get access to my sports card pick of the week, and that's dropping right before the draft. That's it for this episode, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Happy investing.